Hi, thanks for joining us and thanks for watching this video. My name is Beth Wallace and I'm the founder and director of Bliss Ireland, which is a project based in Ireland that organises events that aim to promote sexual freedom, health and pleasure in mind, body and spirit. And one of the ways in which we do that is that we hold an annual festival each summer, and this year's festival comes to us from Narrowwater Castle in County Down, August 7th to 11th, and we would love you to join us there. I'm joined in this particular video by Bruce Lyon from New Zealand, who has a number of pieces that he's contributing to the festival. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Beth.
Would you like to tell the people watching a little bit about you and how Bruce Lyon is in the world and what's important to you?
Mhm. Well, where I am in the world is I have a real passion for people who are kind of on the edge. And what I mean by that is that they are really trying to live a deep, rich, authentic life. And so a really important part of that is reclaiming their sexuality and their authentic power in the world and opening themselves way beyond the very small domain that most people's consciousness inhabits. So I've always been a bit extreme in exploring what it means to be a human on the planet at this time, and I'm really fascinated about the time that we live in, and I love to hang out with people and help people break through into a much deeper and richer experience of their lives.
Beautiful, thank you. And how did you get to this point in your life in terms of your sort of your study and your work and your background? How have you come to be where you are now?
Well, I always felt that it was a little bit weird being in this human body on this planet, and it was a little bit, I always felt like I needed to go and find out. And so my original degrees were in marine biology and ecology. I was really interested in the natural world. I always felt a deep affinity with the natural world, but I couldn't really understand why humans, which are a part of nature, are so busy ignoring the natural world and at war with their own nature. So that led me into psychology, which then led me into spirituality. And then in the spirituality world, I was really trying to reground into the natural life of the planet. So that led me all the way back, like a snake eating its tail, to the natural world. So I feel like my journey has taken me to the deep place of void and detachment that the spiritual paths talk about, but also to the deep, rich, full embodiment and juiciness of being alive as a human being in this living being called the earth.
Hmm. And so you're coming to Ireland this summer for the third
I
year in
am.
a row, and you're coming to the festival for the second time. You're bringing three or four different pieces to the festival this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what they are?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm really excited to be coming back to Ireland, and I really love coming to stand with you and the work that you have initiated there. I think, you single-handedly have opened the door for so many people to really feel connected to reconnected to their sexual power and to their freedom. And I love Ireland, and I love the connection between Ireland and New Zealand. There's a very powerful goddess energy in both countries. So what I'm coming there with this year is a real deep, deep sense of connection to land and to place, not in a kind of
Mm.
possessive parochial sense, but in a sense of a celebration of the fact that we are embedded on land, and that land has its own stories and its own past and its own future. And so a deep way of celebrating and integrating this development of consciousness that humans are making with the land itself as a living being.
Mm.
So that's one
Quite a
of the
strong
things that I'm
theme.
bringing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
quite a strong theme in the festival this year.
right. And that's one of the beautiful things about Ireland and New Zealand. Both have very strong traditions of living land. And it
Mm.
was only really when I traveled in Europe that I realized just how different it is to be in other countries. And then most of my life now, for the last 20 years, I've been traveling around the world, tasting the different land masses and the different stories that have been built up between humans and their land. And I love this idea of the earth becoming re-enchanted as we reawaken to our own sacred land, to our own bodies, to our own deep connection with our life force, that we simultaneously awaken to the energies of the land, and the land remembers us and we remember it, and we begin to reshape the stories and lay down the tracks for the future generations to come.
So that sounds a lot like you're giving the keynote speech for the festival on the Saturday morning. So what you've just spoke to sounds a lot like what you'll speak to the morning of the Saturday morning at the keynote speech. And you and I are opening and closing the festival with the opening and closing ceremonies. What's your thoughts and your feelings in terms of opening and closing the festival?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the beautiful things about ceremony is it allows us to open into a much richer life. And I think there are so many kingdoms that are really supporting humans in their awakening process. It's wonderful to do it for ourselves, but it's also so beautiful to participate in this larger life. So the ceremonies to me are an opportunity to just drop away the normal zombie consciousness that so much of our city, society life is about, and give ourselves permission to enter into the sacred, multidimensional realities that we really live in. It's like opening our radio station to a lot more frequencies, so that during the time of the festival, so many different parts of ourselves and parts of the natural world and parts of the supernatural world can come play and celebrate and liberate more love with us. So that's really the point for me of ceremony, is to open the door to the sacred.
And to celebrate that too, I think, for me, the celebrating of the event, the celebrating of all that's created and all that's brought into that alchemical pot is a really important part of it for me, and we do celebration really well in Ireland.
Great, wonderful.
So the other part of what you're bringing is a workshop. What can people expect in your workshop? What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? What might they expect to experience?
Well, the workshop's about arousal, and one of the images that I love is of human beings that are waking up on the planet, being like the erogenous zones of Earth, that we are the ones standing up, we're the ones rushed, we're the ones full of this beautiful primal energy of life force that says we're standing up for love. We're the pink bits that are standing up for love. So arousal is really important to the soul as well as the body. There are many things that arouse our bodies and our sexual energy, but there are also things that arouse our soul. And when you can get the arousal of your soul or your consciousness and the arousal of your body together in one place, then there's another whole meaning for what orgasm is. It's not just a physical expression, it's the eruption of the whole being as it stands up and fountains into the world its pure primal essence. So we're going to explore arousal, and of course we're going to do that in the dimensions of consciousness and the dimensions of sensual and sexual arousal. I think people can be reasonably relaxed that they're not going to have to do anything that they don't want to. They're going to explore their own arousal in a way that feels safe for them. And that could be in any way, really. So if you're interested in what arouses you really deeply, then this workshop has got some potential for you.
I love that you pointed to the fact that everybody who attends is in choice as to how much or how little they participate in the workshop, and that's true. I just want to sort of reiterate that that's true for absolutely every aspect of the festival, that everybody who attends is totally free to choose how deeply they dive into their own experience. Nothing is compulsory, nothing is mandatory, and everything is in choice.
Yeah, that's so great. And for me, and I know it's the same for you, Beth, that there's been so many areas where our sovereignty has been squashed and we've been told what to do, or we give it away. And to me, this
Mm,
is such a vulnerable area, exploring and reclaiming sexual power as well as the soul, that what's absolutely sacrosanct is people's free will and free choice, and
mm,
their growth comes from really finding what is true for them in any circumstance. So I love the fact that you
absolutely.
place such a deep emphasis on free will and sovereignty.
Mm. So, why are you coming back to Ireland? What is it about the festival, and what is it about Ireland that particularly draws you and pulls you here?
It's strange because I don't really know. In fact, I find it quite hard to come to Ireland. It's been quite gritty, and at the same time, I feel really drawn. And I think it's because, every country has a soul and has a special contribution it makes to the world. And I suspect that there's something in the grittiness of the Irish soul and soil that has a great contribution to make. And I think it's about love. I really think that at the core of the struggle in the Irish soul is a great call towards love, and a great attempt to try to understand what love is, and to try to give that to the world. So when I
Mm,
deeply feel into my connection with Ireland, I think it's a connection of a love for the land and the livingness of the land, and a love for the struggle that can produce real love, real deep love. It's not new agey and superficial, that can
mm.
handle deep conflict, but that triumphs through all of that because real love is found and expressed. So there you go. That's why I'm coming to Ireland.
Fiercely so.
Mm.
So, before we finish, I just want to ask you, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the people who are watching? Are you up to anything else while you're in Ireland? Is there anything that you'd like those who are watching the video to know about you, your work, or anything else that you're doing in Ireland while you're here?
Sure. Well, I'm coming to Ireland for the Bliss Festival, and then directly after it, I'm leading a week-long training, which is an ISTA training, and the training is in really helping people have the skills to deepen their own liberation into their sovereignty. So a lot of people, when they come to this work of their own sexual liberation and their own attempt to live a deep, meaningful life, are looking for a place to do that safely. And ISTA is a container, a week-long container that really allows people to experience a major liberation in the way that they live their lives. So this is held, this is going to be held in Ireland. It's been held for the last 3 years. And it's going to be a week-long festival, a week-long training run directly after the festival. And if people
Mm.
would like to know more about that, they can either go to my websites or go to the ISTA website. It's the International School of Temple Arts.
I'll put a link in the description of the video below the video so that people can do that easily.
Great.
Thank you.
And one of the great things about that work is that we've tried to draw from all the different traditions and say, look, what does a modern human being need, stripped of all dogma, stripped of all story, to help them really claim an authentic, rich, full connection to their life force. So that's the purpose of
Mm,
the week.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing what you're bringing and why, even though you may not know all the reasons why, and none of us ever do know all the reasons why. And I very much look forward to being able to share all of that with you, but I also look really forward to being able to offer what I know that you can give and what I know you spark when you're in a group situation. I'm really looking forward to being able to give that to the people at the festival, because that's a very
Great.
precious and powerful gift. So thank
Great.
you for coming
And
and thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. And one of the things that I really get from coming to festivals, which I do all around the planet, is just the joy of standing with my brothers and sisters and meeting them and feeling enriched by their journeys. So I'm looking forward to being with you and to being with the people in the festival.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.